लीलामृतसारसारं नारायणं त्वं सततं प्रपद्ये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्याय नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। वंस मोर हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So first of all, I offer my unlimited obeisances unto the divine lotus feet of my most worshipable spiritual master, His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. My unlimited obeisances unto the divine lotus feet of our Rupanuga Guru Varga. My Dandavat pranams to Sri Prabhuji and respects to all the assembled devotees. So we are very happy today that today we are celebrating the 50th wedding anniversary of Kamlesh Ji's and his father. So very auspicious day. Also we have others who are celebrating today at the temple. This is the best way for having any celebration. When we call everyone at the temple and in front of the deities of the Lord, we do kirtan and then we do hear some Harikatha and then distribute Mahaprasad of the Lord to all our guests. So this is the real benefit to everyone. So many of you may be coming here for the first time. How many of you are here for the first time at the temple? Seems that many of you are first time. Okay, some of you are coming for the first time. So here at the temple we have what we call Harikatha, where we discuss some topic from our scriptures. So we have been discussing a very important subject which is called 64 limbs of Bhakti. So Bhakti is one of the processes of yoga. So there is Karma Yoga, Gyan Yoga and then Bhakti Yoga. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that none of the other yoga processes is complete without Bhakti. Nothing other than Bhakti can actually connect us to the Supreme. And when we say Bhakti, Bhakti can only be for Bhagavan. Bhakti is not for anyone. Because from the root word of Sanskrit also, you can show that Bhakti is only done in relation to Bhagavan. So how is that Bhakti performed? So these are the 64 different limbs. Limbs mean just like we have hands, we have legs, we have different limbs of our body. So for us to do any activity, we need one of these limbs. If someone who has no limbs, it is difficult for them to perform any activity. So similarly, to perform bhakti, we do one of these 64 limbs. Someone who can do everything, very good. But as we were discussing before also, that even if one can just do one of these 64 limbs, then he can attain the supreme perfection. And today we are going to discuss one of those most important limbs, which out of all the 64 is considered the most important. So this is from a book called Bhakti Rasamrita, Sindhu, Bindu, which means a drop from the ocean of memory. Bhakti is like a wide, wide, deep ocean. And in this book, one of our great acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarty Thakur, is just giving us a drop. And you can see how that drop is also so beautiful and like an ocean itself. So before we go further, we have discussed, I'll just quickly, the last two that we discussed. One was Paricharya, service to or attendance upon the Lord. And Shachinandan Prabhu very nicely explained, if those of you who were here 2 weeks ago, that how we can render different kind of services to Krishna, because He is the Supreme, God is the Supreme, and just like in a country, the King is the Supreme, and we do different kind of services to the King. Similarly, one of the ways is just thinking of Him as a King and do different services. Next one is Geetam, singing. So singing different praises in the praise of the Lord. Just now we were doing Kirtan. So these were different songs in the beginning that we were singing. And there are different types of songs. We also discussed it last time. There are certain songs where there is a mood of surrender. So we are surrendering to the Lord. They are in the mood of servitude. And then there are certain songs that are in the mood of lalsa. You are desiring something from the Lord. But what kind of lalsa? Not desiring for something material. Our acharyas have written many, many beautiful bhajans with what is the real lalsa. Dekhite, dekhite, bhuli bova kabe, nij sthula parichaya. That Srila Vishwanath Thakur is singing that one day by practicing these different limbs of bhakti, by practicing the devotional service, one day I will completely forget my material body and I will attain my spiritual form in the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So this is called lalasa, desire. And to purify our existence, first thing is we have to purify our desire. Everything happens by desire. Because we have desires to enjoy, that's why we do so many different things, make so effort. Many of us are here in the US because there was a desire to come to the US, right? Leaving our country behind, taking so much pain, right? Separating from your family, came here and established. And the root of that was what? It was desire. Now whether that gave you happiness or not, that's a different thing. But this desire is the root cause of our material existence. So bhakti means purifying our desire. And if we can come to this pure desire that I am not this body, I am the eternal servant of Krishna. And my only desire is to somehow or other engage in His loving devotional service. That's a purification of our desires. So this is Geetam. Now as we go along, if anyone has any question, please feel free to stop me anytime. You can ask a question. So now we come to the third limb of bhakti, and this is actually the most important limb. This is called Sankirtanam. You must have all heard of what is Kirtan. So when we sit, we were doing Kirtan, we were chanting, but what is Sankirtan? So it means the congregational chanting of the Lord's holy name. So that means not just you sitting alone and chanting, but when we all sit together as a congregation, as a group, and then we chant the names of the Lord, that is called Sankirtan. And this is considered even more important than Kirtan. And we will discuss why so. So he explains here in this book, very small book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu. He explains that when many faithful devotees following under the guidance of Mahapurush assemble together and loudly chant the holy name of the Lord for the pleasure of Sri Bhagavan, it is called Sankirtan. So many important points he's saying. That first thing here is that why are we doing Sankirtan? We are doing Sankirtan for the pleasure of Sri Bhagavan. That's a purification of our desire. So when we do bhakti, we are not doing it for our own pleasure. In fact, we get pleasure by giving pleasure to the Lord. See, nowadays Kirtan is very famous. In America also Kirtan is very famous. Many groups get together and do Kirtan. So it is very nice. It's a very good thing that people in America also, because people go there and feel so much peace. People feel so much bliss when they attend these Kirtans. The only thing that we have to be careful, that are we doing Kirtan just as another music show, or are we doing this Kirtan just to show to everyone that I am a very good singer, right? Or to make money. So if those are all the objects of doing Kirtan, then it is not real Kirtan. Because Kirtan, as I was saying before, bhakti is done for Bhagavan. The moment we start doing it for ourselves, if I'm sitting here and giving a lecture with the desire that afterwards many of you will come and give me some pranami, will come and give me some donation, then I'm not sitting here and speaking for the pleasure of Bhagavan. I'm doing business. I'm sitting here to make money from you. Right? So that is not bhakti. There will be some benefit, because the name of Krishna is so powerful that whether we chant it with purity or impurity, it will still have some benefit. But the real benefit is lost when we do it for our own pleasure. So one thing is, when we sit and when we chant Kirtan, we should do it with, even if we can't chant properly. Krishna does not care whether you have a melodious voice or not. He doesn't care whether you can sing with nice kartal harmonium or not. There was one Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, a very great devotee and disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. And he would, when he would chant, he would cry, the tears will come from his eyes, and he would be so absorbed in chanting the holy name. And many times no kartals, no mridang, nothing. I have some, actually you can go on YouTube and you can hear his voice. It is divine. Without any kartal, without any mridang, he is constantly chanting. There is so much bhav, there is so much depth in his mood. It was so amazing that he once lived in Vrindavan, and this is when I came to Bhakti. He was still present, but unfortunately I did not get an opportunity to see him. But someone told me about him, and then actually just recently I read a book about him, and that also had the same pastime. So when he had a little heart problem, when they took him to the doctor, and when he put his stethoscope on his heart, he was shocked. He could not believe, and then he took the stethoscope again, put it again, and he could hear Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, come in his stethoscope. Even though Babaji was lying with his lips closed, because he was a little in faint situation, but he could hear that sound coming from his heart. So this is called bhav, when we sing not just from our throat, but sing from our heart. So this is for the pleasure of Sri Bhagavan. And then he says that many faithful devotees get together. There should be some shraddha. Again, bhakti is so powerful, chanting is so powerful, that even if we do it without faith, shraddhaya avahelanaya va, whether we do it with faith or we do, some people say, what is this? They are always chanting Hare Krishna, foolish people, and actually they have also done some sukriti. Just by saying Hare Krishna, even though they said out of disdain, but still they have gotten some benefit. But if faithful devotees get together, those who have some shraddha, then the bliss is so high. And then he also says, under the guidance of Mahapurush. This is also important. That when we do Kirtan, we should always do it in the footsteps, following those who are pure devotees. So what that really means, and this is an important part of Bhakti, that we don't do things with our whims and fancies. We just don't do because we like to do something, or this is what pleases me. No. How do I know something pleases Krishna? Right? How do I know that? I have to go to someone who has pleased him, someone who has attained that perfection. So that's why it's called Mahapurush. So such great devotees who are coming in the disciplic succession, hearing from them, learning from them under their guidance, if we do chanting of the holy name, and how? Loudly. So he's saying chant loudly. Why loudly? We can also chant quietly. See, there is a lot of benefit of chanting loudly, and that's why it is called Sankirtan. And because when you do japa, when you're sitting quietly and you're chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, you're quietly sitting and chanting, then only you are hearing and you are getting the benefit. But when you chant loudly, then there's so many living entities around us, they all get the benefit. And that's a benefit when you come to the temple. So sometimes when we're doing kirtan, there are some people who don't chant. Maybe they're chanting in their mind or in their heart, but they don't open their lips. Or maybe they're not chanting, or they're coming to the temple for the first time. They don't even know what we are chanting. So whatever the reason may be, they're not chanting. But when we are chanting loudly, they're hearing it. And that hearing is equally powerful. So they also get the benefit. Not only that, there's so many other small microorganisms, living entities. When we go out and chant Nagar Sankirtan during Nagar Sankirtan, so many birds, so many other, all different kind of living entities, they get the benefit. That is the power of the holy name. So he's saying, chant loudly, chant under the guidance of someone, have some faith and chant it for the pleasure of Sri Bhagwan. Then with all of this, it becomes Sankirtan. San means congregation. When everyone is together, Sang, and then when they are chanting, it is called Sankirtan. So this is Rupa Goswami. He specifically says that even if you are chanting yourself, but you are chanting loudly, even then it is Sankirtan. So he specifically calls out this point that chanting loudly, Kirtan, is Sankirtan. And there he says not just even the name, even when we sing about the qualities of the Lord, when we talk about His pastimes, His form, all of this is Sankirtan. So we are all sitting together right now and hearing the pastimes of Krishna, hearing about Him. So this is also Sankirtan, because we are all congregating together and hearing about Him. So
I was chanting in my room silently. Then I saw two mosquitoes and I started chanting loudly. It became Sankirtan.
We were, this is the highest charity. Just have faith that this will help. So we had some guests visiting, and so we took them to Harman Park, and there were some ducks. And we just started chanting Mahamantra to the ducks, and all the ducks started coming around. They were so amazed. They don't follow this Krishna consciousness, but even they were so inspired that the ducks were coming close to it. They also started chanting with us. For a lot of time, we just kept sitting near the pool and kept chanting Hare Krishna, and these ducks were all coming. So I have 100% faith that those ducks in their next life will get human body. So this faith we should have. And this is a charity that you can do. You see a dog, you see anyone, just chant the mantra and they will get the benefit. So this is the Mahamantra. Everyone knows the Mahamantra, right? Everyone knows it?
Yes.
Okay. So एक बार सब इकट्ठा जोर से बोलें, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So ये आप अपने घर में भी, in your home, put it on some wall, when you are morning, evening, anytime, just try to chant the Mahamantra. When you get up in the morning, before you put your feet on the floor, you pray, chant the Mahamantra. Before you eat something, chant the Mahamantra. This can be used also to offer to the Lord for anything. Even if you don't know any other mantra you don't know. If you just know this mantra, that's why it is called Mahamantra. Everything else is accomplished. No need to even know any other mantra. This mantra has everything within it. and it can be chanted in any condition. Most mantras we can't chant unless you have taken bath and you have done achman. So many things you have to be clean and sit in a certain position. But Mahamantra, in any situation, any position, any way, you can chant this. So this is the Mahamantra. So now we are going to discuss a few, I've put some verses here because sometimes when we just chant the verse, it is difficult for everyone to follow. So I have taken some verses. So we'll discuss a little bit about what is process of Sankirtan. So this is the Kirtan, chanting of the holy name, congregational chanting of the holy name. This is the prescribed process for this age of Kali. So you need, prescribed means when you have a disease and if you have a sore throat and the doctor will give you a prescription for sore throat. If he gives you a prescription for, your feet is paining and give you that prescription, your sore throat is not going to get cured, right? So the prescription has to be for the disease that you have. And the doctor knows what disease we have and he gives the right prescription. So similarly, the scriptures have given a prescription for each age, because in each age the dynamics are a little different. People are at different levels of consciousness. So in Satyug, people were very, very pious. They were in the mode of goodness. So at that time, they could sit quietly like this for thousands of years and they could meditate on Lord Vishnu. I think here, many of you are going to be sitting here for 45 minutes. But 45 minutes, maybe 1 hour after that, sabki peeth dukhne lagegi, right? Everyone will start becoming a little restless. So if you have to sit quietly like this, and that also focus, not possible. And in Treta Yuga, they could perform great sacrifices. Again, not possible for us in this age. It's very expensive to perform sacrifice. The way it is described in the scriptures, how to collect all the pure ingredients, then how to get a Brahman who is so pure, who can chant all the mantras correctly, not possible. And then in Dwapar, they would do elaborate deity worship, huge temples and elaborate. We also do deity worship, but this is nothing what it was done in the Dwapar Yuga, because we simply can't do it. We simply can't do it. Today, finding pujaris has become so difficult, right? So such a challenge. But those days, the kings will also go. The kings will, every palace, even as recently as even 500-600 years ago, the city of Jaipur, Raja Man Singh, he built the whole city with Radha Govind Dev Ji's temple at the center. So the kings were so pious that themselves will go and they will do deity worship. How many of us can come and do deity worship? Hardly anyone, right? So we can see how things are degrading slowly and slowly. So what we can do in this age of Kali? Because in this age of Kali, we need something which requires no rules, regulations. We don't have to get up in the morning too early. We don't have to sit like this, right? Something which should be easy, very easy. Like nowadays, kids don't want to bite something which will have that they will have to chew. So everything in the fast food, why people like fast food, is very soft, right? Aajkal bachcho ko you give something nuts or something which is hard. One dentist told me that people's teeth are changing. I said, why? Because nowadays people don't chew anything hard. Everyone likes to chew something just soft and gulp it inside. So things are changing. So our scriptures, the Lord knows that in this age of Kali, people will be so disturbed mind, they won't be able to do anything. So he says, Kalau tat hari kirtana. He says, Kritayat dhyayatu Vishnu, the same benefit. See, the interesting thing is, even though the process of worship has become simpler, right, compared to sitting like this for thousands of years, and we are all sitting here chanting Mahamantra, what is easier? Chanting is easy, right? Instead of doing yajna, which is easier? Chanting is easy, right? Instead of doing deity worship, we do deity worship. Our Pujari Maharaj has just come from India. Another one. Vainidhi Prabhu ki jai. He's come back after 3 years, so welcome him back to Govindji Gaudiya Math. He also does very nice Harikatha. So, how much time it takes for us to prepare the thali plate and then go on the altar, do all the arti. But for Mahamantra, what we have to do? Nothing. No preparation has to be done. You can sit and chant. So, is the question that the benefit will be less? He says no. The benefit is the same benefit that you are getting by the other three processes in the other three yugas, you will actually get the same benefit, actually even higher benefit from the chanting of the Mahamantra. So therefore, in Kali Yuga, Hare Nam eva kevalam, Kalau naste gati anyatha. In this age of Kali, except for chanting of the holy name, there is no other process. And this is the scriptures are saying. This is from Madhya Leela. In the Puranas it is said. So if we follow any other process, then it is the same thing as the doctor gave you a prescription. But you said, no, I don't want to take the medicine he has given, I will take something else. Will you get cured? You will not get cured. It's as simple as that. So when the doctor gives you medicine, it is upon you to believe in him and accept it and take the medicine as per his prescription. So the scriptures are saying, the acharyas are saying, the only prescription for this age of Kali is to chant the holy names. Now if we want to do something else, that's our free will. But rest assured, the benefit will not be there. Because we simply can't do. Nowadays also people do rituals, yagyas, all of that. But we cannot get those benefits. So, in the age of Kali, it's only the process of chanting the holy name. And the Lord Himself came in this age, in this Kali Yuga, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Varanam Tusha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yagyahi Sankirtanahi Praya. So he came with his golden complexion. So Krishna himself came in a golden complexion as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he says Yagyahi Sankirtan. So Sankirtan is also a yagya. So Sankirtan is a yagya, just like doing ahuti. This is even more powerful yagya than any other ritualistic yagya. So he came along with all his associates to spread the congregational chanting of the holy name. So 500 years ago, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. When the altar opened, you can see on the leftmost side, we have two deities. Among them, the one on the right hand side is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he is the one who spread this congregational chanting. And he gave the reasons that why we should do Sankirtan. So he wrote 8 verses which is called Shikshashtakam. 8 verses which are called Shikshashtakam. And in the first one, this is a big verse, but I will just explain a couple of points from here. Very beautiful verse. He says, Cheto Darpan Marjanam Bhav Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreha Tairav Chandrika Vitaranam Vidya Vadu Jivanam Anandam Budi Vardhanam Pratipadam Pudamritasvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So he is glorifying Sankirtan. So what is Sankirtan? What is Sankirtan? Chanting of the holy names together, congregation. So he is saying Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. That this will be the most victorious. Vijayate means in this age, the most victorious process is congregational chanting of the holy name. And very beautiful and deep verse. I will just explain a couple of points. The very first thing he says, Cheto Darpan Marjanam. He says it cleanses our heart. It cleanses our heart. So our Chitta. So because of so many lifetimes of enjoyment in the material world, so many lifetimes, all of us have had many lives before. Many lives before. And in all those lives we have done so much. We have done so many sinful activities, offensive things, all kind of stuff we have done, good and bad. And that dust of all those unwanted desires is accumulated on our heart. See, when we go from when we give up our body, the body stays here, right? But something goes with it. What goes with us along with the soul? The subtle body. So does anyone know what does the subtle body consist of? The subtle body, Sukshma Dehe. So we have gross body and then we have the soul. But the soul is covered with the subtle body. What does the subtle body consist of? Anyone knows?
Mind, intelligence.
Yes, mind, intelligence and false ego. So the mind is where everything that we are doing is getting recorded like a video. Everything is getting accumulated there. All the different sanskars, good or bad, are getting accumulated there. It takes us, it goes with us into the next body, and they again sprout. So that's the reason right from childhood people have all kind of different inclinations, right? Different inclinations. So this Cheta, because of this dust that has accumulated for so many lifetimes, we are not able to see the soul, because the soul is covered by this subtle body. So it is there, that is who we really are, but we are not able to see ourselves. Why? Because of this dust. Just like when you, like, well, yahan pe it doesn't happen, but in India, when you travel and everywhere so much dust, you go out and if you come back after 2 months and you have a mirror in your home, it will be covered with deep dust and you won't be able to see your face. So what you have to do? You have to do marjanam. You will take a piece of cloth and wipe it. The first time you wipe it, it will not become completely clear. You will see some portion of you. Then you wipe it again, you wipe it again, you wipe it again. But continuously wiping it, then finally it will become crystal clear and you will be able to see yourself. You are standing there but you are not able to see yourself. Why? Because of the layer of the dust. Similarly, we are here, right here, our soul is. We are not able to see it because this layer, deep layer of anarthas. And he says, chanting of the holy name helps remove Cheto Darpan Marjana. Yes, Vrinda Didi?
Is that the same as the koshas and the anandamaya kosha? The different levels, there's 5 levels of the koshas.
You mean chakra or?
The kosh.
Kosh.
Anandamaya kosha, in the book it's called Anandamaya kosha. There's 5 different layers. There's 5 different layers.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not understanding the question. I'm not understanding the question.
Anandamaya Kosh.
She's saying that
Yoga ki baat bata rahe.
Acha, yoga.
which is soul,
Yeah.
there are 5 layers.
Yes. In the Hatha yoga it's expressed.
So in these 5 layers are cleaned by the technique.
Yes.
This is this and Anandamaya kosha is soul. That's soul. That's our clear soul.
Yes, the stage of bliss, yes. So, he's saying that chanting of the holy name cleanses our heart. So, no other process has that, and you can experience it. If you sincerely chant, you will see how slowly the mind starts getting purified. And then one other point I will point out from here, in the 3rd line, he says, Anandambudhi Vardhanam. So, Anand means bliss, and Ambudhi means ocean, and Vardhana means increasing. Ever increasing ocean of bliss. So just as the dust starts getting removed from the heart, then you start experiencing that bliss that is within you. The soul is Satchidanandamaya. It is full of bliss, but not realizing that we are looking for that happiness outside of ourselves. But the greatest happiness is within us. And by chanting, by congregational chanting of the holy name. See, when we sit together and chant, the benefit is that our mind becomes focused. Many times when you're sitting all by yourself and chanting, the mind runs here and there. So many different places the mind goes, right? But when we sit together and when we chant, at least for that time, the mind becomes completely focused because everyone is chanting. There is nice tune, there is kartal, harmonium, mridanga playing, and your mind gets absorbed. So therefore, participating in kirtan is very important. So participating, we start the program with kirtan. Unfortunately, that time only 2-3 of us are here. But if you are inspired, then you should be at the temple by 11:30. Because 11:30 is when we start the kirtan. So we first do Geetam, we do different songs, and then we do Sankirtan, we chant congregationally together. So then this also destroys, chanting of the holy name destroys all sinful reactions. I've quoted this verse before also, that in the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is conclusion of all the scriptures, and the 12th canto, the last verse, which Maharshi Vedvyas wrote. He wrote so many books. He wrote the Vedas divided, Upanishads, Puranas, then he wrote Mahabharata. Then he wrote, at the end he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the last verse he wrote, see, he is glorifying Sankirtan. He says, Nama Sankirtanam yasya sarva papa pranashanam. That by chanting, by congregational chanting of whose names, whose holy names, all these sins are destroyed. Pranam dukha shamanam tam namami hari param. So I worship that Supreme Lord Hari. I offer my obeisances unto Him because chanting of His holy names destroys all the miseries of our life. And you know what is the greatest misery in our life? What's the greatest misery? सबसे बड़ा दुख क्या है? भगवान को भूलना, right? That's the biggest thing. And end of the day, the misery that we will give up this body, right? Everyone that we are so attached to, my father, my mother, my little children, my little grandchild, right? So many of them, in front of your eyes, you will give them, and you have no control on that. So he's saying, Pranamaha Dukha Shamanam. But at that time also, there's one thing, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Mudhamate Samprapte Sannihiti Kale Nahi Rakshati Dushkrit Karane. Sripad Shankaracharya is also saying that chant the names of Govinda, chant the names of Govinda, chant the names of Govinda, because at the time of death, nothing will help except the holy name. So the holy name is so powerful that it destroys more sins than we can even commit. So that does not mean that we should keep committing sins. Ki ab ka kota pura ho gaya, now let me go and do some more and then I'll chant. No, that is namapra. That's even very, very bad. But those things that we have done in the past, till we came to know the value or the power of the holy name, that till that time, whatever sins you have done, they will be all destroyed. So now you know the power of the holy name. So no more sins after this, right? No more sins after this. Because giving up our bad habits is important to realize the Lord. Of course, they will go away automatically. The name of the Lord is so powerful. By chanting slowly, all the bad things will go away. But we should also make a conscious effort. And why is it so powerful? Why is the name so powerful? Because, as is said in Padma Puran, that Krishna's name is non-different from him. Nam Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Ras Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukta Abhinatvat Nam Naminaha. And each one of these verses is so beautiful, we can spend a lot of time discussing them. But here in Padma Puran it says Nam Chintamani. What is Chintamani? Desire stone, touchstone. Whatever you desire, it gives you. He's saying this is, आप लोगों ने सुना होगा नाम पारस मणि. We have only heard about it, but we have never seen it. But there is a story of, and many of you might have heard of Sanatana Goswami, who actually had this touchstone, and a Brahman came asking for some wealth. And this Sanatana Goswami was living in Vrindavan, living under a tree. And he said, I don't have anything to give you. He said, no, Lord Shiva told me that you have something very, very precious. Then he remembered. He said, oh, a few years ago, I had a stone, I threw it in the garbage. So he said, where is it? He said, go, there is a heap of garbage. See if you can find it, because I don't even remember where it is. So the Brahman went, he removed garbage, and then he found this very, very shiny stone. And the moment he touched it with a piece of iron, it became gold. And this is true story. It became gold. Now there was no end to his happiness. You know, you found something that would turn how gold has become very expensive now. Yesterday it went up very high. So he touched it and became gold. Most of us will be like on this seventh sky if we got something like this. He took it and he was leaving, and then one thought occurred to him. He said, this is such a precious stone, and this Babaji Maharaj had put it in a heap of garbage. That means he has something even more precious, right? Right? Because for someone, if touchstone is like garbage, there has to have something more precious. So he went back to him. He said, I came to get from you the most precious thing. But you gave me the stone, do you have something more precious? He said, why do you ask that? He said, because you have put this in the garbage. He said, yes, I have something. So give it that to me. So he said, on one condition. He said, what? Go and throw this in Jamuna. So this is in Vrindavan. Sanatana Goswami was on the banks of Jamuna. So he went and threw it in Jamuna and then came back and said, now give it to me. So then Sanatana Goswami, he put his hand on his head and say, chant with me, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Sanatana Goswami is no ordinary person. He is an eternal associate of God. By his putting his hand and hearing this divine mantra from his lotus mouth, he was in complete bliss and manifesting all the symptoms of devotion. And he fell at Sanatana Goswami's feet. He says, please accept me as your disciple. So this is true. We say it, not able to comprehend it, right? That's why we are not able to throw the parasmani away. We are not able to throw the touchstone away. But he's saying that Naam is Chintamani. It has so much power that it can give everything. So this is a devotee comes to this level, Rakshayshati iti Vishwasaha. He gets to this level of faith that if I am chanting the names of Krishna, Rakshayshati iti Vishwasaha Goptritve Varanam Tatha, that Krishna will protect me and he will take care of everything that I have. Krishna declares in Bhagavad Gita also, Ananya Chintayanto Mam Ye Janam Paryupasate Tesham Satat Abhiyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Vahamiham. That anyone who is chanting and who is Ananya Bhav with one pointed devotion, I will make sure that I take care of everything that they have. So, Naam is Abhinatvad Naam Naminaha. The holy name is non-different from Krishna himself. So that means, what does that mean? That the power that Krishna has, the same power is there in the holy name. It's not an ordinary thing. The same power. Krishna has power what? Can create universes, can do amazing things. Achintya Shakti. So the same name is there in the holy name also. And that's why it is the best among all the processes. We're running out of time, so I'll just go through quickly. In Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Bhajaner Madhya Shreshta Navavidha Bhakti. So when I said in the beginning that Sankirtan is the highest, is the best among all the 64 limbs. So here it says that Bhajaner Madhya Shreshta Navavidha Bhakti Krishna Prem Krishna Rite Dhare Mahashakti Tar Madhya Sarva Shresht Nama Sankirtan. So it's among all the processes of bhakti, 9 processes are the most important Shresht. Among them also, Tar Madhya Sarva Shresht Nam Sankirtan. The chanting of the holy name is the best among all of these processes. And Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, in Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita, those 4 verses which are the root of Bhagavad Gita, he says, Mat Chit Mat Gat Pranaha Bodhayanta Parasparam Kathayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. That those whose minds are absorbed in me, whose lives are wholeheartedly devoted to my service, derive great satisfaction and bliss from constantly enlightening one another with the fundamental truth about me and performing kirtan of my name, form, qualities and pastimes. So Krishna himself is saying that this is what the devotees do. They sit together, do kirtan and chant and hear about my pastimes, my form and my qualities. And this is what is Harikatha. So we'll stop here. Does anyone has any questions? Any questions?
I just want to make one comment for what you say. In different yugas there were different processes, but they had to be qualified.
Yes.
In Namskirtan, Mahaprabhu and Nityananda don't look at a person's.
Yeah. So that's why I said there's no rules, regulations, no qualification. Anyone can do in any state, one can chant the holy name. So this is the power of the holy name. We should have some faith, and with some faith we should chant whatever time we can spend to chant the holy name. And doing kirtan having devotees come to your home, doing kirtan, listening to Harikatha, very, very powerful. And as we have been announcing, we will be doing a series of programs during the month of Kartik, the most auspicious month in the whole year. And starting October 17th, we are going to be doing home programs, and we'll talk about Braj Mandal Parikrama and Srimad Bhagavatam. So Atul Prabhu will announce, we actually have only now one slot left. If anyone is still inspired, everything else. So we can, you please hold a program. It will be very blissful. So say ek baar sab boliye Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.